Hey guys, welcome back to another episode where today we are going to be playing Mega Man with only the pea shooter or only his main blaster. We begin with Cutman, and his stage is going to be one of the easiest in the entire game, as all you have to do is simply spam your Mega Buster and hit all the enemies as soon as they come at you, and you'll get through the stage in no time. And if you still somehow manage to get hit, they drop life in no time. And even if they don't drop life, this stage is so abundant with life ups that you could go through this entire stage getting hit by every single enemy once and you still wouldn't die. Making my way to the end, I prepared myself to face Cutman, and it wasn't until it was too late that I realized I only had 0 lives. Cutman's fight is the simplest out there. He just jumps around, throws a little pair of scissors at you. Besides that though, he's extremely simple. Anyone can defeat him. Except for me, on my first try. I had less than a quarter of HP, and Cutman destroyed me in no time. Yes, that's right, I died by Cutman. I had to go back all the way back, and I had to go back all the way through that stage until I finally made it back to Cutman's boss room. My rematch against Cutman was only slightly different than before, with only one key difference. I had a full HP bar. All I had to do was cut down through Cutman's HP, and it was done in no time. And just like that, I had beaten him. Gutsman's stage begins fairly simply. You have a couple enemies on the screen, you gotta go over to the right, and once you go over to the right, you discover these platforms. Now, these platforms are both dangerous and really easy to use. And let's just say that on my first attempt, I discovered what that meant. But once you've made it past that dangerous platform, you can keep on going, and you encounter our first real struggle. Now this little guy throws his picks at you, and as long as you're careful, you should be able to dodge them. Of course, if you go too far away, or if you get too close, he will compensate by throwing them either closer or farther away. And if we had Cutman's ability, it would become slightly easier to defeat them, but as for now, the Mega Buster is good enough. At first, I thought Cutman would be genuine trouble for this run, but after the first couple of boulder throws, he resorted to only jumping, leaving himself completely vulnerable to my attacks. And in no time at all, I was able to defeat him. Bomberman's stage really piqued my interest. I knew that he would be a little bit hard, and it had been a while since I'd last faced him. I actually managed to lose a couple of lives to this stage, but thankfully later on I managed to get a couple back. Now, our first real challenge are these green guys right here. You cannot kill them by just spamming the Mega Buster unless you are willing to tank some damage or carefully time your jumps. If I had Cutman's ability, I could easily take care of these guys, but for now we're going to have to just deal with them. Another significant problem we have to deal with are these missiles, as these go up and down, and potentially you can get hit by them. Thankfully, I managed to find a glitch that allows them to despawn throughout the rest of the level, and we will be using it later on in Fireman stage. Bomberman was one of our first real challenges, as you can't just tank the hits and kill him. Of course, maybe you can if you have full HP, but that's besides the point. If you don't have full HP, the best way you can defeat him is simply keep on shooting him and anticipate where his bombs are going to be. As he throws them, the blast radius is big enough where you can't get caught on that if you're unlucky, but as long as you anticipate it enough in advance, you should be able to defeat him in no time. Fireman's stage is actually pretty simple. Beforehand, I thought it would be really hard or really difficult, but you only have a couple enemies to deal with, weird platforms to jump over, and the addition of these fire pillars, which, may I note, you cannot destroy or damage unless you have Iceman's ability. which, as you guys already know, we can't have at this point because we haven't faced him yet, and secondly, we can't use because that would go against the rules of this challenge. Now, this next room, I can't believe it, but I got hit twice, but overall, you don't have to worry about that too much. Now, these bullets are worth a mention as they would be made significantly easier with Cutman's ability. However, you can just use the glitch I've mentioned before, and it's easy as pie. I made it to the end, and I somehow managed to die. But, making it all the way back, I managed to get to Fireman's boss room again. Renowned of being one of the most difficult fire-type bosses throughout the entire MegaMan series, I expected a real challenge, where I would need at least several attempts to beat him. I was wrong. Not only was it just a big pushover, I managed to beat him by tanking his damage and just spamming the Mega Buster. Out of all the bosses, he's gotta be one of the easiest. Iceman's stage is fairly simple. We got basic enemies, very basic terrain, not much to worry about. These penguins do pose a slight problem, as we'll see later on in the video, but for now, they are fairly simple to kill, and once you get past them, you can just jump, dodge, and do it whatever you need. The next section is actually quite difficult, but it's not difficult for this challenge as a whole. It's more difficult just as the game itself, and so we're not going to talk much about this section. But I will make a quick honorable mention about how you can actually glitch out this guy by letting him come over to you, walk over to the right, and he despawns. This section right here is as difficult as always, but still poses no direct threat to our challenge, as it is only difficult because of the game itself and not because of the challenge. That is, of course, until we reach the next area, which has a little bit of a unique twist. Over here in this next area, not only do we have these platforms, but we have penguins that come after us, which means that if you get hit mid-jump, you fall down to your death. But, with some pretty good RNG, it's completely possible to make it all the way across without any hassle. Making my way to Iceman, I realized that these penguins over here spawn items indefinitely, and they spawn indefinitely as well, which will become very useful later on. Iceman added a real challenge to this run. Not only does it only take 3 hits to die from his blast, but if you die, you have to go all the way through his horrible stage again. Let's just say that that very thought was a nightmare I couldn't handle, and I spent a very long time in that corridor grinding for life from those penguins. Finally, after 5 attempts, I managed to beat him. And I gotta say, after all the struggle I went through and all the grinding I went through, it was well worth the wait in the end. And we finally arrived. Lichtman, the final challenger. Lichtman's stage begins like any other. We have a couple of enemies on the screen, a couple platforms to jump, but besides that, it's fairly simple. That is, of course, until we reach these enemies. I gotta say, unless you time your shots perfectly, you are going to miss and you're going to get hit. The rest of the stage is simply on repeat. We get the same enemies, same layouts, same ideas, over and over again, and poses no more of a threat to our challenge than before. At last I reached the boss room, and as you guys can tell by my face, I am not very excited about this. This has had to be the most infuriating boss fight I've ever encountered. Sure, he may take knockback, but not before jumping on your head, throwing electric bolts at your face, and making you wish that you could just use Cutman's ability. After about 12 resets, and more deaths than I can count, I gave up. I'm sorry guys, but I just don't have the energy to finish it. Not today. But who said I couldn't do it tomorrow? After a good night's sleep, I was determined to not only just to complete this challenge, but to make Lichtman wish he had never been born. Another 5 attempts passed, and I still hadn't beaten him. But on the 6th attempt... Guys, this is gonna be... I'm gonna finish this today. So guys, I've spent over this is my 2nd day now attempting the MegaMan Buster only challenge. A Lichtman is a big pain in the bum. I hate this. I'm gonna do it, but I hate this. Let's get him let's just destroy him already. Come on. Oh man, I missed it again. Yes! Got it! Okay, jump that way. And then... Come on! Oh! Come on! Hit him! Come on. Okay, we're good. I'm just spamming the mine. I mean, there's not much actually strategy to this, but I'm spamming it, hoping he's not gonna get into. And if he throws electricity, he's gonna get a huge my HP. Oh, okay, come on, guys, this is it. Come on, please. Oh, come on, please. I've been way too. I'm gonna get like, you guys a death counter. Like I've had way too many times to this guy. Finally! Oh my gosh! Finally! We've finally beaten the first 6 bosses. Finally. That took way too long. Guys, my hair's in disarray. I'm wearing a different shirt. Today's a new day. But I finally did it. And I had finally done it. MegaMan won 6 infamously hard bosses defeated, and Dr. Wily in my grasp. That was until I hit a brick wall. And by that I mean I literally ran into a brick wall. And this marks the end of our adventure. As far as I'm aware, there is currently no way to make it through Cutman blocks without using Cutman's powers. In other words, this challenge is over. However, if you guys would like to see another video where I show the minimum count for how many more uses of powers I have to do throughout the rest of this run, let me know. Guys, this challenge was so much fun to do. It was very painful at times, but in the end it was so much fun, and really it was worth it. And I'd like just to say thank you to all of you for watching this and for being here and for supporting me on my first ever video on this type of content. And yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends, hit the bell, and guys, that's all for now. See you guys next time.